We're glad you tuned in when you did, and we're working on it. We're going to get it fixed. All right. Of course, the big news today is the ice cream social following the service. I know. It's mine and Michael's favorite day of the year. We love the ice cream social. I want to mention a couple things. First of all, that storm we had yesterday, I feel like just cleared the energy for just the most perfect day, right? We needed it. We're grateful for it. So, following the service, 7 flavors of ice cream, including dairy-free and sugar-free, 7 types of toppings, 10 specialties, 6 choices of drinks, 1 amazing cake. Yes. They're asking for a love donation of $10 that is suggested, or whatever your heart feels and can do in gratitude, they will welcome. No one is turned away. We will take cash, your credit card, or you can pay on PushPay. So we've got you covered this morning. Come and have ice cream with us following the service. I do want to mention, if you can stick around a little bit, they would appreciate some help breaking down. They've been here since early this morning and worked yesterday too. So thanks in advance for that. I want to remind you about an announcement I made last week. If you are able-bodied, please use our east parking lot on Sunday mornings to leave the west parking lot for those people who need to walk shorter distances. We appreciate you helping us with that. Next Sunday, the YOU's hosting their second car wash of the summer. The rain was right on time because we're going to have a good week, and you're going to want to get all those spots off your car next week. So plan on doing that. That's on a love offering basis as well. And so if you get here early, they'll put you on they'll do your car during the service. So that's a bonus too. So if you want to get here early, show up in the east parking lot, and they'll get you on the schedule. Our letter writing campaign continues, encouraging people to vote around the country. There's packets available in the bookstore. And that team has created these lovely little, actually it was Alice, I just have to say, it's Alice. These little wonderful Project 2025 information cards for you to pick up, hand out to your friends, just some information that everybody needs to be aware of, okay? So today's the last day for collections for community outreach. If you missed your moment on that, you can make a donation on PushPay. That will be up for a couple of weeks, so make sure you do that if you didn't come with anything today. And a couple of registrations are open. Women's Retreat registration. Karen Drucker coming back in October. I know a lot of you got the email. Who were here last year. So make sure that you go in and register for that. She will be here that Sunday for all of us, so it's going to be a wonderful day for that. So make sure you check that out and get in on it. We've also opened registration for vendors for our 2024 holiday marketplace. Yes, this is very exciting. This was our biggest fundraiser last year, and it was fabulous. And we are counting on having more vendors this year and more items in the silent auction. And so let me just put that out. Dixie's looking for a partner to get silent auction items, or to help her do that out in the community. And then we're asking all of you, if you have a business, maybe you're a massage therapist, maybe you can donate a service or goods. Our biggest items were the weekends and weeks at the coast for people who had houses out there. So I'll just drop that in too. If one of y'all have that, we are grateful for your donation of a weekend out there at your house. So yeah, we're open to whatever you can provide. All right, it's time to welcome, if you are here for the first time this morning. We're glad you're here. You possibly got a welcome packet when you came in the door. And if you didn't, now's the time. Raise your hand. They would love to give you one of these. There's a lot of good information on the inside. There's a neon card on the back. If you fill this out and drop it off today, this will get you on our email newsletter list. There's also a QR code on there if you'd rather do that. Maybe your handwriting's not so great and it's easier for you to type it out. We have that available. And there's a red rose sticker on the front. We'd love for you to peel that off and stick it to your lapel or your name tag. come on out and get some ice cream after the service. You'll be glad you did. Yes, it's a great way to start your week. All right, y'all have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, Beth. All right, and if you didn't know, the fundraiser today is for our garden. Once a year, the garden team does a fundraiser. If you've been benefited just by walking by the flowers on this space, just know we're so grateful. The garden team also paid for over half of that huge tree that came down in the storm with their funds from past years. So they've gotten down to about zero. So now we're just holding that space for all of us to know. We are so fortunate to have this space over here. That was actually purchased as, I believe it was the 50th anniversary of the community. I could be wrong on the date, but there was a house on it. It was taken off, and that is the space and the house was moved. I'm sure William can tell you where it is, but I do not know the address. But that space was just consecrated and has had so much prayer and joy and kids and other things in it. So we're so fortunate for that. I want to take a moment and just thank all of you who are new to this community and still saying, what is Unity? What's happening? Who am I within this? We're so happy to have you with us. We believe that every one of us is on this sacred spiritual journey right where we are. And we get to find a place to connect and to be part of a community. If these ideas that you hear here work for you, I would encourage you to become a part, to say, I'm willing to connect. I'm willing to learn other names. I'm willing to be a part of something larger. If it does not work for you, I would encourage you to continue seeking. Find a place that does, because right now it is very important to gather together and to know something larger. I also wanted to share with you today, before we sing, that one of the people who has been foundational in this community in years past made her transition, and that is Judy Hollingsworth. She was here as the admin for 9 years. She was here for a year while I was here, so she left, I think, in 2007. She also helped Unity in Gresham for a while. She made her transition this past week. The service will be this coming Saturday, the 24th, at 11:15 a.m. at Greater Portland Bible Church, and that's on 2374 Southwest Vermont Street. If you have any questions, let me know, or I'll leave this with Beth in the office, but we just invite you. We're just holding a space. We are travelers along this journey, and we are just as filled with life with a spacesuit or without a spacesuit. I just want you to remember, we are creations of spirit. We're creations of life. We are going to stand and sing.
We're going to sing, Our Loving Will Change the World. You can clap. Here we go.
Love, love, love everybody. Love, love, love when it's hard to love. Love, our loving will change the world.
Love.
Love, love, love everybody. Love, love, love when it's hard to love. Love, our loving will change the world. Share, share, share who you are, and share, share, share when it's hard to share. Share, our sharing will change the world.
Sing, sing,
Sing, sing, sing all together. Sing, sing, sing when it's hard to sing. Sing, our singing will change the world.
care, care.
Care, care, care for each other. Care, care, care when it's hard to care. Care, our caring will change the world. Love, love, love everybody. Love, love, love when it's hard to love. Love, our loving
Oh, yes, it will. And I just invite you to turn to those around you with a handshake, with a welcome, with a namaste. Our loving will change the world. As we look in the eyes of beings around us, isn't it amazing the feeling we get when we realize we're looking at spirit? We're spirit experiencing spirit, and we're recognizing the truth of who we are as we have the courage to get outside of the stuff and into the truth of who we are. And so in just a moment, we're going to move into a time of meditation, a time of just taking that inward breath, that sacred breath of spirit that reminds us we are whole, we are infinite, we are complete, and it knows that truth and allows it to be anchored in a cellular way, that knowing that we know that we know.
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love.
relaxing our bodies, quieting our minds, and continuing to turn within. Closing the outer eyes and opening that inner eye. I am filled with life. The very vibrant life of the universe breathes as me now. I breathe in life. I am life. I breathe out life. And in that space of eternal knowing, I rest in the silence, knowing that I am divine life, whole, infinite, and complete in the silence. than what we may be hearing on the news or somewhere around us. That there is a consciousness that is rising, that desires to get out, even if it looks like it won't. And he said, make the world work for 100% of humanity in the shortest time possible through spontaneous cooperation, without ecological offense or the disadvantage of anyone. Nature is a totally efficient, self-regenerating system. If we discover the laws that govern this system and live synergistically within them, sustainability will follow and humankind will be a success. And then he goes on to say, never forget you are one of a kind. Anybody ever told you're odd, you don't fit in, you're not quite where you need to be, you don't have this, you don't have that, you might have been born with original sin or you were born somewhere else? That's what we grew up in. That's the old thought system that we're getting out of. Instead, we're going to this idea and we're embodying a knowing that we are creations of that Most High. You could say, I was born with original blessing, the infinite presence and power. I remember when Maya Angelou, when she first read the book Lessons in Truth, and she said, I got it. There is a God that loved me. She said, no one in my whole life had ever told me that this creative presence loved me. And she said, it is love. And that everything in her life, she reinterpreted everything in her life as I am loved. The universe loves me, God loves me, the infinite loves me, this presence and power loves me. That's the energy we sing about, it's what we talk about, but beginning to know it and allowing it to be cellular is such an important thing. So never forget that you are one of a kind. Never forget that if there weren't any need for you and all your uniqueness to be on this earth, you wouldn't be here in the first place. How many of us think about that? We think, well, I don't know if I'm necessary. I don't know if I'm touching people. I don't know if I'm, what does the world need me for? And never forget, no matter how overwhelming life's challenges and problems seem to be, that one person can make a difference in the world. Anybody ever had one person say, you're gonna make it, I believe in you? We have one person who did. That's good. I mean, I always have people coming up and saying, somebody told me I was more than I thought I was. Right before the pandemic, we had our Uniteens share what was important to them about Uniteens, and you'll see some pictures from their retreats. 3 of those kids said they were alive because someone in their group said, we believe in you. Because that's the work they do down there. They do, sometimes they don't want to talk, they don't want to actually be doing it, but that's what they do. The design is to recognize the wholeness in another and to be able to say it. Lives are lived with, sometimes we get a little scared and we think the road's dark, I don't have what I need, I'll just try and get 1 foot forward and 1 foot forward and see if I can make it, if I can survive. I believe these times are calling for us to thrive by recreating a consciousness that says we are more than that. And so, as he said, and never forget, no matter how overwhelming life's challenges and problems seem to be, that one person can make a difference in the world. In fact, it is always because of one person that all the changes that matter in the world come about. So be that one person. Talk to the people around you. Get to know the people that you meet, that you think, I don't know them, they don't know me. Who are we? We are travelers on a sacred journey. We don't even have to speak the same language. I remember when I first went to Russia, actually it was the second trip to Russia, and we picked up my beautiful daughter Leah, and we adopted her. We were put into a Russian family in the middle of nowhere, and it was in this huge apartment building that looked like everyone over there. It was trashed on the outside. It was smelly. It was all these things. And you walk in and it looks like about a 1950 tiny home. And it was so small. We sat for a whole evening with a couple who didn't speak any English, not one word. We looked at their photo albums. We realized how close we were, that we all wanted the same things. And pretty soon I thought, We're talking and she's talking in Russian, I'm talking in English, and pretty soon we're hugging. And we're just recognizing who we were. We're people from across the world that still desired to be close to one another, to connect with family or to connect with another being. It was just the most amazing connection. I realized I thought it required language. It requires our hearts to be softened, is how Pema Chodron puts it. It requires our hearts to be softened, and that's a fascinating thing. So be that person. I believe every one of us in this room is that person. And we may not understand how important we are to the process and to the journey. And so part of this time is taking what's in front of us and figuring out what to do with it. Anybody have something in front of them right now that you have no idea what to do with? Okay, again, one person. We're really big on that. It's fascinating to watch it and to say, wait a minute, and we get to decide. You know, Charles Fillmore said you can change your life by altering the thoughts in your mind. Who was it? Michael Beckwith said, we are pushed by pain until we are pulled by a vision. And sometimes I thought it had to be a vision of where I'm going, what I'm doing, how I'm successful, what all these pieces are. It just needs to be a vision that's larger than the painful one. As I told you last week, I was scheduled to leave tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. You know, I've always heard this. The great message of the New Thought movement, and Unity is part of that, is that we are not victims of life, but that we can be masters of our own destiny. And I realized if I had turned around and just decided I was going to go see every music-free concert in Portland, it would have been wonderful. It's about changing our minds from I've lost where I am to being able to see something more. And I believe that these times we go through, regardless of who the presidential candidate is, we are being asked to transform. To take the pieces of us that still have the bounds that control us, that get us, and find a new way. Find a part of ourselves that is larger than we know. Do you know, when we do that, we have to be able to find peace in times of chaos. Now, most of us have heard the chaos theory. Pierre Teilhard de Chardin talked about the process of chaos, that literally but the chaos theory is that everything is in a system right here. It's tight, it's knit, it does what it does. It can be dysfunctional, it can be functional, but it's working in its own way right there. It has to break apart for something larger to form. That chaos happens all the time. It happens in our life. Oh, I'm walking the Camino. Everything's set. Oh, nothing's set. Oh, it hurts. I don't like this. This isn't the way it's supposed to be. Wait a minute. I have 2 months off for the first time in my life, and I can't do what I want to do. And, you know, it's like it's these pieces, and then it goes back to there's something more. Maybe there's something more. Maybe there's a message. Maybe sabbatical is supposed to be resting, not walking. You know, I mean, there's a few things like that I've been looking at. I'm just having to laugh at myself and say, but I want to walk. And then you go back to, but maybe there's something more. I don't know why we're where we are as humans, but I know everything in our life is designed to allow us to thrive. That means to find something more, to find joy where we are, to find the pieces. And, you know, Pema Chodron in her book, and I love this book, Practicing Peace in Times of War, she said, we have to look at ways that we do it. She said, war and peace start in the hearts of individuals. Gandhi said, all war, all violence is the result of the non-physical violence we hold in our minds. That means when we don't know where to put our anger and we just attack ourselves or we attack somewhere else, or we think they're bad and I'm good, or I have all the answers and they don't. There's something larger here. But she said, strangely enough, even though all beings would like to live in peace, our method for obtaining peace over the generations seems to not be very effective. We seek peace and happiness by going to war. And she's talking about, as countries, she's talking about individuals. Anybody just say, if I could just get them to change their mind, or get them to do this, or get this part of the world to change, and we go and we start attacking. And she said, there's something different here. War begins when we harden our hearts, and we harden them pretty easily in minor ways and in quite serious major ways, such as hatred and prejudice. Whenever we feel uncomfortable, we usually harden our hearts, or we feel scared. We harden our hearts and we push ourselves away from what's there. And our motivation in hardening our hearts is to feel some kind of ease. And so how we do it, and this is what she says, peace is softening what is rigid in our hearts. Wow. Peace is softening what is rigid in our hearts. And she also, further on in there, says all fundamentalism is rigid belief. And she said, but when we get angry and want to fight those who are fundamentalists, we usually get rigid and harden our hearts, and we're not teachable or open, we're right and only right. And I don't have the answer for what that means, because these are major, major life choices that we have in this country right now. But I do believe part of this sacred journey is learning to soften and to say, what's the teaching here? What is it that I'm to learn? What is it that I'm to understand? And she said, we can talk about ending war. We can do everything in our power, but war is never going to end as long as our hearts are hardened against each other. And that talks about a healing and an acceptance that we may not be there yet, but that's where we're going. And so this sacred journey that may look like chaos in your individual life, it might look like that in your family, it might look like that in the country, it might look like that in different places. These are the grounds for where we get to practice. These are the places where we get to practice, and we do get to be the ones to say, if we decide we're keeping our hearts right where it is, nobody's touching me, I'm not going to be vulnerable, it's a really rough way to go. Anybody tried it? Life says, oh, honey, let me help you again. Let me let you figure out a better way, another way. And so, and here, she said, we often complain about other people's fundamentalism, but whenever we harden our hearts, what's going on with us? And so we create stories, and we pass on stories of what is not serving us, of what's wrong. And I'm trying to find the balance between being honest, being real, being where we are, and finding a larger way to hold something. And I believe that as we come together as a community, we can begin to hold each other. And we can begin to hold these ideas that we are more than individuals fighting individuals. We're consciousness that's seeking to express itself and to grow. And we have to find a way not to be so rigid ourselves. And here's on page 21, she says, we ourselves become fundamentalists, which is to say we become very self-righteous about our personal point of view. A fundamentalist mind is a mind that has become rigid. First, the heart closes. Then the mind becomes hardened into a view. Then you can justify your hatred of another human being because of what they represent and what they say and do. And there will never be peace until we soften what is rigid in our hearts. And so that means every one of us has an opportunity in the next 3 months to hold a space that's a little softer. It doesn't mean we have to give up our belief in democracy or in the beauty of a world and the possibility. It doesn't mean we give up all these pieces. It means we begin to soften what's hardened. And we begin to say, Spirit, show me. Is there a larger way? Is there a larger story? Is there something more that needs to happen here? You know, and I'm going to use Joe Biden as an example because I'm not going to pretend it didn't happen. He got hit in the face and offered an opportunity to choose something higher. I don't think it probably looked like something higher. It looked like hurt. It looked like losing what you've worked your whole life for. It looked like a lot of things. But there's something more for all of us. And eventually he got to say, I'm more than this body who wants to be right here. And sometimes I think our journey through life is that. I am not my body. I'm not this. I'm more than that. Myrtle Fillmore said, you do not have a problem except for the one that is in your own mind and you put it there. There were times when she was really just straight out. Now, this is a woman she's one of the co-founders of Unity. And she had been raised as a sick child. She was told from her whole life, you're not going to live very long. You have, tuberculosis. You have all these other things. The doctors kept saying, you don't have any, don't get married. She was told that. Don't go to college, which she did. And she was in one of the early programs that they did not give her she didn't get to graduate. She got a certificate, which is what the women got at that time. But she said, of course I am. But she finally went into prayer, and what she worked on was wholeness. Ken Wilber, in his newest book, that book that's about this thick, his whole thing is what we're learning right now as humanity is that we are actually whole just as we are. We have parceled off the pieces. That's what Joe Dispenza is doing. He's talking about wholeness in a body and all of our cells, and people can say, well, wait a minute, I'm missing this part, or I'm missing this, or this is happening. And he's saying, no, actually the truth is we are whole. Ken Wilber said we have to wake up, we have to grow up to an idea that is larger, and he continues with this whole path of how we know our wholeness, that this is what humanity's doing. And here we thought we were 2 political parties or 3 political parties or however many arguing over something. We're not. We're humanity becoming aware of something larger. And so how do we do that? We get to open to something more. We get to find something larger. Hafiz said, fear is the cheapest room in the house. I'd like to see you living in better conditions. If we've been choosing fear, so fear is the cheapest room in the house. I'd like to see you living in better conditions. Now this, of course, is, this is an ancient teaching. This is, ancient wisdom. It's time to give up the cheapest room in the house. It's time to find something more that we are than we ever might have thought. And so I'm inviting you as you go through this journey and experience who you are, that first of all, this is not a time just to survive through. This is a time to go inside and say, wait a minute, I got all the components of this chaos theory. There's things falling apart around us. That's an opportunity to build up what's within us. It's actually easier when everything is gone from us to instantly heal what we thought we may never heal. I have been with people as they've realized their lives were ending and had them say, I just forgave my whole family. I swore I never would. And in an instant, it doesn't matter because we realize what's important. I just forgave myself. I've spent a lifetime of not believing in myself, and suddenly it doesn't matter. I get to know myself as a creation of spirit. Life is inviting us to know ourselves as more than we ever dreamed, which means whole. And often we just slip by that word, whole, infinite, and complete. Whole means we are without any pieces missing. That consciousness transforms humanity. I am whole means there's nothing missing. I don't have to get anything. I am love at its core. It created me. I'm filled with that. And I can begin to give from that place. Because we become the one that changes humanity when we say, I am whole, and I can see that wholeness in you. And so as we move through this time, and the election's November 5th, I'm just inviting you to hold a space and soften our hearts and know that the love that we are is desiring to be expressed. It's begging to be expressed. And we have the ability to do that. I will be back, by the way, for the women's retreat. That's the first day I will be back. I'm actually still on sabbatical, but I had already talked to Karen, and I'll be back for the women's retreat. We have ministers coming in from all over Unity, from this community, from the next week we have Reverend Blair Tabor, who's been in ministry, 45 years, something along that line, 44 years, and has shared all over. He's on vacation with his RV. He's retired, and he'll be sharing. We have Reverend Sylvia Hayes coming in. We have previously Governor John Kitzhaber will be doing the message with her. We have people coming in to just share all kinds of messages. But the main thing is, every message we share at Unity is about the truth of our individual selves. And I believe that when we begin holding it and others are sharing it and doing it, we become a transformational community. And that's my greatest desire, is that we hold a space so large for ourselves that we step into a wholeness and our body will remember it. It's the truth of our being. And then we begin to live it. And when we hit a wall, we just say, oh, I'm being pushed by pain. I wonder what the larger picture is. And know that that picture is infinite, and it's humanity touching humanity. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. By the way, if you haven't turned in one of these yet, now would be the time to do it. They're in the backs of your seat. I think are they white now? In the back? No, they're not. I'm sorry. They're still the same color. So if you haven't filled one out and you're not getting our email newsletter, please do. We're going to receive the opportunity to invest in this community. Unity is getting closer to 100 years of sharing this message. Marion Lance, in actually 1924, sometime about this time, said, this idea is so important, I believe we could gather in my living room and start talking. And it went from there. And so these ideas are so important. I invite you, there's different ways to give, I believe. Yes, they're up here. They're on a white card in front of you. And I just invite you to be a part of the community and of holding a space as we recognize that these transformational ideas, they change the world. I believe they save lives. They open us to something larger. And we're going to say our blessing together. And our affirmation, which will be up in just a moment, I believe, is divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is.
Ooh, don't turn away. Ooh, look my way. Ooh, this is uncomfortable. You see, you see, you see. I know you are not what you seem. You are part of a dream. You are not just a stop on the map. You see, you see. You are big, crazy love. You are big, crazy love. You are mud, you are blood, you are icicles forged in the flood. My love, my love. Ooh, it will get easier. Ooh, it will be clearer. Ooh. darkness, you'll see, you'll see, you'll see. I know you are not what you seem. You are part of a dream. You are not just a hare in the trap. You'll see, you'll see. You are big, crazy love. You are big, crazy love. You are mud, you are blood, you are icicles forged in the flood. My love, my love. You are fire, you are song, you are magic, you belong. Through the dark, I'll hold you. Home. You are big, crazy love. You are big, crazy love. You are mud, you are blood, you are icicles forged in the flood. My love, my love. You are big, crazy love. You are big, crazy love. You are mud, you are blood, you are icicles forged in the flood. My love, my love, my love.
Oh, thank you, thank you. In just a moment, we're going to sing our youth in, and we get to hold that space for every one of them as we know ourselves as wholeness. And I think sometimes the easiest way we can do it is begin claiming it in all the beings around us, begin seeing it. We get to hold this for them also. And so I just invite you to allow the love that you are to create an energy field into which they walk this morning, their hearts open, knowing they are loved.
You are the star of the morning. You are heaven smiling at us.
You're God's gift of tomorrow. How we love you, how we love you. You are the star of the morning. You are heaven smiling at us. You're God's gift of tomorrow. And how we love you, how we love you.
Good morning. Wyatt is going to share with us what we did today.
Hi, my name is Wyatt.
Hi, Wyatt.
Hi. So what we read today is what is it? Horton Hears a Who. And pretty much this book is about hearing for others. Yeah, and responsibilities. Voices are important. No voice is too small. I don't think so. I don't really know.
Good job, Matt.
Hi, everyone. I just wanted to remind y'all we have a car wash next week to fundraise for our events. So if you want to get your car washed, we'll be in the overflow parking lot.
East parking lot.
Love offering.
And they can come ahead and park their car ahead of time?
If you want to park your car ahead of time, you can. So that's like before service. Yeah.
Thank
And then your
you.
car will be cleaned while you're at service. What?
Well,
They'll be there. They'll let you.
there will be kids in the parking lot, or people in the parking lot directing you. Okay, do we have any Uniteens that are, I think they're showing pictures or not?
You want to?
This was the Unitreat.
Alex, you want to hear? You come. I don't know if they'll help you.
I mean, I can talk about it, but.
So one of the projects that we did at Unitreat was this bench that we see them working on right here. So the theme of the Unitreat was "We Are the Journey." So the idea with the bench was to put words on it that somebody would want or need to hear when they're tired on their journey and needing to rest. So the bench was constructed by one of the sponsors, and then we took the boards off of the back of the bench. And then each family group got 2 of the boards. The Uniteens decided what words were going to go on those boards. They decided where they were going to put them. The Uniteens took electric routers and engraved those letters, and then they painted the boards with the colors that they have. And then after that, the boards were reattached to the bench toward the end of camp. That bench is at the entrance to Camp Cedar Ridge, where Unitreat was, and the camp had us put the bench in that location. So if you go to Camp Cedar Ridge, that's one of the first things that you see when you get there. I believe it's going to be there permanently.
Okay, and I hope all of you join us outside after the service for our ice cream social. We're going to stand and we're going to hold this space of peace on our planet.
Okay, here we go. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with
Oh, yes. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. We're going to join together in our unity prayer. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And we just say, thank you, God. We're going to sing our youth out, and they will be back downstairs.
thank you, thank you,
Thank you for this day.
thank you, Thank you.
Thank you for this day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for this day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for this day. Thank you. Thank you. Woo-hoo. Thank you for this day. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you
For this day.